Today I am finally trying what everyone claims to be the world's best pencil. I'm sure you've heard of them, the Blackwing pencil. This is their most iconic pencil, the 602. They claim half the pressure, twice the speed. We've got the Blackwing matte, ideal for musicians, woodworkers, or anyone who wants a soft, dark line. Blackwing Pearl, a favorite of calligraphers and illustrators, softer than the 602 but firmer than the matte. Though to clarify, the name Pearl is just to describe the pearly paint of the pencil. And Blackwing Natural, extra firm graphite that works well for extended writing and detailed line work. Again, the name of the pencil, Natural, just means that the wood on the pencil isn't painted, it's just a natural wood. They definitely look very nice together. I love their different colors, and their erasers are all different colors too. I'm more of a kneaded eraser kind of gal, so I don't know. I'll definitely test their erasers. Speaking of test, heck yeah, let's get into it. Do you think I could pull off a really stupid, corny transition? Let's see. I'm going to be testing on both the Bristol paper, which is very smooth, and Stipple, which has a nice stippled texture, very interesting. And I'm just realizing that I have to sharpen these guys, so give me 1 second. Look, I don't want to be a wood pencil hater, but this is why I love mechanical pencils. My hand is sore after sharpening these. I'll admit it. All right, here we go. That is definitely a very smooth gradient. Let's see what it looks like on the Stipple. Oh, wait, the Stipple paper's cool. How cool is that paper? Moving on to our matte pencil, I actually do like a soft lead. And you know what? Maybe I even like a dark. Let's see how it does on the Stipple paper. Oh my gosh, I can't get over the texture of this paper. It's so interesting. The Blackwing Pearl, which is softer than the 602, but more firm than the matte pencil. Oh, the gradient looks a lot smoother. Is that the Pearl speaking, perhaps? Still not over the texture of the Stipple paper. And lastly, the Natural. Oh my goodness, this is definitely a firm lead. I'm sure this pencil would be really good for those finer details where you know that your pencil isn't going to be worn away as quickly, I suppose. Yeah, this is a firm boy, but not as dark as the Pearl got. Let's continue the testing. I just want to get familiar and get to know these pencils, test things like just putting down lines. How hard can I press without the lead exploding? I have a pretty heavy hand, so that's kind of important. How easy is it for me to make a ball with a gradient light? I'm definitely learning that I do not have practice with pencils, and this was a little bit hard, especially on the Bristol smooth paper. You can pretty much see every little line that I put down. I tried to work in a slow circular motion. I'm bad at it. Stipple was, I guess, easier in the sense that you don't see lines because you're essentially drawing on top of little bumps. I am both intrigued and disgusted by this paper. I don't know. I wanted to scribble some lines. I just like to test art supplies at how they are at their undignified use. And you know we had to test those erasers, not only to test the erasers themselves, but I want to know how hard you can press down and still get an erasable line. In general, it seems like as long as you're not pressing down with everything you've got, you can erase it, though the Stipple paper makes that a lot more difficult. I want to create 4 different illustrations, one using each pencil just to get a feel for each one, how differently I might work, how each piece looks. So let's get into it. Also note that the light is making the pencils look a lot lighter than they actually are because of the camera angle, so just keep that in mind in this video. When I sat down to draw this first illustration, my first instinct was, where's my mechanical pencil? I need to get a sketch for this illustration. And then I remembered, oh right, I'm drawing with a pencil, so I'm just going to sketch with the same pencil. Which looks a little goofy when you're watching my process creating this piece. I sketch with the pencil lightly, and then to ink and color it, I use the pencil heavily. Look, it felt weird, okay? I'm used to sketching with a pencil, inking with a pen, and then coloring with some sort of colors. What is this, Inktober? Okay, anyway, let's talk about the pencil. Obviously, going into these illustrations, I was feeling a little nervous because I am not used to using pencils in this way. Even when I use colored pencils, I use them in a very solid, put down a hard, flat color. I don't do a lot of blending. I don't try to get different shades by building colors and layers and doing them lightly and doing them darker and doing them darkest. So working with a graphite pencil to create an illustration is not something I have done, I feel like, since college, unless I've done it for a video. It's just not something I'm experienced with, so this was a very interesting way to illustrate for me. Using the 602 iconic Blackwing pencil, it did feel fine. I felt like I was able to get a range of lights and darks, creating gradients was very smooth. The gradient on the ear was especially very easy to do. Shading on the carrot felt very gradual. I felt like I had a lot of control. It felt very smooth. I only had to sharpen the pencil once, maybe twice during this whole process, so that was pretty nice. The pencil itself doesn't feel iconic to me personally, but the illustrated, gradiented, and textured pencil illustrations look so iconic in a kid's book kind of way. I do like that look. Overall, the 602 felt like a pencil. Next up is the Blackwing matte pencil. Initially going into this piece, I didn't feel much of a difference between this pencil and the classic 602 pencil. I think when it comes down to it, the difference between the graphite and pencils is going to be so slight. It really just kind of boils down to your preferences, and when it's something that you know you don't like, that's when the characteristic of the art supply will really shine through. Whereas for me, I'm just I don't really use pencils. It's not my preferred way to work, so all pencils kind of feel similar in a way. Now, if you watch my colored pencil comparison video where I compare 63 different colored pencils, I can definitely tell the difference between a soft and hard lead. There's a huge difference, but between, I gotta say, all four of these pencils, they're pretty similar. If not similar, the differences are slight. I did feel like I had more control over the soft blushing cheeks of the bunny rabbit in the previous piece. Maybe it was a lot easier to get a soft, just dusting of a color. I'm gonna say color, but I mean like a graphite layer. Especially with the beak and the legs of this bird, I was wanting to get a much lighter color, but this was the lightest I was able to get, which, to be honest, it is pretty light. I wanted it to be even lighter. It is also important to keep in mind that I do have a very, very heavy hand. I was as gentle as I could be, but I do have a tendency to press down a lot harder than I want to, so maybe control isn't my best quality. Pencils are an art supply I don't use a whole lot, so obviously I'm not going to feel like I have the best control over them because I don't know how to use them properly, and it is the way it is. They describe this pencil as having a soft, dark line. I gotta be honest, I don't know what that means. When I hear soft, I think light, but they described it as a soft, dark line. Look, I don't understand pencils, and I'll leave it at that. Our third pencil, the Blackwing Pearl, I definitely felt like this was the, how do I say, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, the bed that was just right in the middle. This pencil isn't too soft, it's not too hard. I feel like it is definitely more my speed. It felt very easy to work with, soft enough to create a nice gradient, easy to build up layers. It definitely wasn't as easy as the 602 to get the softest, just hint of graphite that I was able to get with the bunny's cheeks, but I did feel like the gradients were very nice in this piece, and I was able to get a nice dusting if I wanted. I had to be very careful. Now, just speaking from creating illustrations where I wanted line work and a variety of different tones and shading ability, I did really appreciate the fact that this pencil is able to get a very, very solid dark color and get a nice gradient to a light color. Again, when I say color, I just mean graphite, the black graphite from the pencil. I don't know why color is my default vocabulary. It's a Kaseyism, I don't know. I think it's definitely something that the Blackwing matte was lacking for me. You have a lot less control, I think, when it comes to getting the lightest light color that you can get. If you want those dark darks and you also want to be able to get those light lights, I think the Blackwing Pearl is definitely the pencil for you. If Blackwing is your pencil brand and you gotta have one. But who knows, maybe at this point on my third illustration, I was just starting to get a handle for working with pencils, and I was learning how to create gradients and layer and make a smoother application application of graphite. Who knows? Or maybe it's because I drew a cat and I just really like to draw cats, and if I draw a cat, I'm gonna like it more. But judging that I enjoyed the pearl while also testing these pencils at the beginning of the video, I'm gonna go ahead and say that the pearl is my favorite. Our last pencil, the Blackwing Natural, is a firmer graphite pencil, and knowing that my preference with pencils is a softer lead, I knew that this one wasn't going to be my favorite. I absolutely did not hate this pencil. At the end of the day, if you gave me all 4 of these pencils, there's a high chance I wouldn't be able to blindly tell you which was which. I think I could pick out a soft graphite pencil between a hard graphite pencil, but that's probably about it. And the difference between all 4 of these pencils wasn't that great. However, like I mentioned, if you are super into pencils and you definitely have your preferences, I'm sure you could feel 100% a difference between all 4 of these pencils. I really felt how easy it was to create a gradient with this one when it came to the bone. I didn't expect myself to get so into the shading like I did. I was just going to shade this bone like I normally do any sort of flat 2D cartoon styled illustration, but then I just got carried away with how easy it was to make a gradient, and working with the graphite was just so different, and I kind of just wanted to get into it, and I got into it. Is it the best shading? No, but something about this pencil just really got me in the mood to create a gradient. That makes no sense. You ever get in the mood to create a gradient? They described this pencil as being good for extended writing and detailed line work, and I definitely feel like this one was a lot easier to create the line work because it was a firmer pencil. It's not the darkest of all 4, but it definitely went down smooth, hard, and solid. I think maybe using all 4 of these pencils to their advantage, one doing line work, one doing shading, maybe using their strengths together would have been the play, but I really wanted to feel each individual pencil. And there you go. Conclusion, I've learned that I like my mechanical pencil and I'm going to stick with it. The illustrated pencil style is definitely a vibe. Look at them all together, they look like they go in a book. But as someone that doesn't often use pencils, I wasn't completely blown away by these pencils. So Blackwing, I'm sure people out there love you, but you're probably not for me. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and a huge thank you to my patrons for their monthly support. You guys are the best. If you want early access to these videos, secret sketches, live streams, and more, check out the link to my Patreon in the description. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!